Hey, what up? It's Tampa Brad back at you with law number 47 of the 48 Laws of Power. I need to read this one because it's a long one. Law 47 is, do not go past the mark you aim for in victory. Learn when to stop. Full stop on that one. So what this law is talking about is the idea that there's always like an arc. Anything can be described in a curve, on a graph, anything like that. And there's always an ideal optimum point. Economics steals in this. If you're raising prices on something, there's an economically ideal price point for a certain product where you're maximizing what's called area under the curve and getting the most money in. In a presentation, there's always a point where you should end the presentation and give your ask, if you're doing a sales presentation, at the emotional high point. If you ever go to a Tony Robbins seminar, he's going to build up to an emotional high point, hit the emotional high point, and then say, go see the people at the back of the room to sign up for the next seminar. And that's how seminar speakers sell seminars, is they build up to an emotional high point and they don't go past it. At the peak of emotion, boom, they go for the ask because they're obeying this law. They don't go past their mark and they understand how to use that peak point. Probably the most applicable example of this is in what's called a cross-examination during a jury trial. When let's say a defense calls a witness to a stand and the defense lawyer gets to get some questions out of that witness gets them to testify. The opposition's attorney then gets the opportunity to do what's called a cross-examination. It's called cross because they go across of that witness. During that cross-examination, it's basically that attorney's job to make them look like an idiot or to just make them look like totally uncredible or to pick their story apart. But what a lot of attorneys make the mistake of doing because they think that they're intellectuals and not presenters, they make that mistake. They don't understand what's really the dynamics of really what's going on with the jury. They will get to a peak point to where that person looks totally not credible at all. And then they will keep going. They will, as the law says, go past their mark of where they could have stopped and they should have stopped on a high point, but they'll keep going and they won't allow the effect of what they just happened to sink in on the jury. They'll keep pounding with more information and more intellectual stuff. So obeying this law requires you to have some degree of what you might call finesse or social awareness to the dynamics of what's going on. You have to understand when there's a high point and when you should stop talking. There is such a thing as what's called overselling, right? There's too much of a good thing. A lot of people actually get sold on a product and they don't wind up buying the product because the person who's trying to sell it to them thinks that they need to continue to sell it. They don't check in with them. They're not keeping tabs. They're not just saying, hey, have you heard enough to make a decision, and go forward from there. And the fact that people don't do that, the only reason that they really don't is because they're afraid. They're doing it out of a self-consciousness that they haven't done enough. They're doing mindless activity in the aim of shoring up what they see as their shaky personal foundation, when in fact the other person is ready to move forward and do business with them. They feel like they need to continue to shore it up and they don't need to at all. I can think of an example of a client who we're working with who 100% is going to build a house with us. I've probably only spent maybe 2.5 hours with that person, but they love everything we do. They follow us religiously on Facebook. They see all the stuff we do. They're huge fans. And I've only spent about 3 hours with that person over the past month of just briefly putting them in touch with the right people and having fun little conversations, because I don't drag the conversations out. They're a busy person. I'm respectful of their time and I know what I need to get across and the frame of mind I want to put them in when I get off the phone. And once I achieve that, I'm done. It's the end of the conversation. I had a 7-minute conversation with them today that I think anyone else may have dragged into a 20, 30, 40, or 50-minute conversation. It's quick, in, out, convey the information, have a great time doing it, and we're done on a high point. So that said, this is extremely applicable in your life today. If you are trying to get someone to do something, you may be overselling them on it. You may be just driving too far. When they say okay, be done with it. A lot of people, if they're being convinced of something and they say okay, that's the end of it. They're done. They're convinced. Many people will go past that mark and continue to keep trying to convince after that. Once you're aware of this, once you're made aware of it, it's going to show up everywhere all around. You're gonna see, oh, that person's ready to go and the salesperson isn't asking them. That wife has just been convinced by her husband, but he's going to keep selling, and he's actually going to piss her off more than she's going to change her mind just because she's mad and wants to be cross with him. You're gonna, you're gonna see, you're gonna be in a court case, and you're gonna see, oh, that attorney should have stopped at that point because he made that witness look totally not credible, but he kept going, and the jury forgot what he even was talking about, and all they can remember is the great way that the defense had it set up, and the murderer gets off with the murder with no sentence. So you're gonna start seeing this show up. This is one that until you know to look for it, it's very easy to overlook. Until you're aware of the underlying dynamic here, it's very easy to miss it. So that said, I want to keep this short and sweet, and I don't want to go past the mark of explaining this to you. I feel like we've gotten through the idea of this. Use this though. Realize that I've said this in many of these videos. These videos are completely worthless to you. This has been an entire waste of your time if you do not apply it. If you want to see how I apply this stuff in my own personal life, follow me on Instagram. I'm at Tampa Brad there. Subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this. Thank you. I do appreciate you and your time and attention. I'll see you in the next video. Law number 48 is about to come out, and then we'll be done with this. We'll move on to other great, amazing content. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your attention. Peace.